back to another episode of Psychonaut Sessions, your home for all things psycho. This is your host, Daniel Moeller. Yeah, here we go. We are getting into some C.R.O.W.BAR 9 here from Steve McArdle. I'm going to put a link in the description to my interview with Steve McArdle. I probably need to do another one because this guy is just fantastic. I could talk with him all day long. He's a rock and roller. He made comics back in the day. I think early 90s is when he was really, just in his prime, late 80s, early 90s of being a young guy, just playing rock and roll in a rock and roll band. You can find a lot of his videos out there. Excellent music, by the way. And making comics. I mean, it's just like the small town boy American dream, at least for me. And his comics are amazing. So one of the comics we highlighted in the interview is what he had coming out, Vendetta, a book he worked on back in the day, and it was completely reprinted along with the standalone comic Artillery from Floating World Comics and Power Comics, a conjunction between these two efforts. 30 years later, just incredible. I mean, if you want to understand Steve McArdle, Power Comics is the name. It's power, it's rock and roll, it's just incredible fun action, everything you want in that kind of 90s comic style, but 10 times better. I mean, a lot of 90s artists did not, they weren't actually really great storytellers. They would make cool art, but Steve McArdle's the whole package. I think he's an incredible storyteller. He really knows how to take ideas and push them through a sequential narrative. I could spend all day talking about Vendetta. This book is amazing. You need to go out and get it now. It's just I covered a lot of it in the interview with him, again, which I'll link in the description. It's one of those books I pull out every once in a while. And so he kind of has his own universe of books called Red Bullet Comics. And there were some characters in this story that kind of became featured. This particular person had a light come to them, and they're next to a cement mixer, and they became this kind of like cement, not monster, but like hero. So there were some like brief characters that were featured in this particular book towards the end of the story, and those characters are identified as part of that larger Red Bullet universe. And so some of those characters are featured on a team called C.R.O.W.BAR 9. So again, Steve was working on all this stuff back in the day, and he had completed Vendetta, Artillery, and then he was moving into C.R.O.W.BAR 9, which essentially was like his team book. And so Power Comics and Floating World Comics got together again to reprint this, but the thing about C.R.O.W.BAR 9 is that it actually was unable to be finished. He had completed 2 issues, and to be honest, and I think he covered this in my interview, but this book is dedicated to his mother. I think his mother, he needed to take some time to take care of her, and was unable to finish the comic. And now here we go, 30 issues, Lord heavens, 30 years later, he's able to complete it and finish it. So it's all complete. This is 3 issues in one. It's an 80-page giant. It's not like hardbound, like Vendetta. So it's staple stitched. it's actually really cool because I love the way that it's printed. The thing about a lot of modern printing is that it's on white paper. It's like nice thick stock. You know what you want, but sometimes too, man, you just want some good old fashioned newsprint. And this is one of the things I love most about this book. It's printed in newsprint style, so you need to take care of it. You need to bag and board this, but it feels like something I would have picked up off the racks. Um, and so it's awesome. And his artwork, I think, really lends to that newsprint feel. All right. So the story, this character Slate was introduced in the last, and essentially what's happening in this story is alien invasion. It's good old fashioned alien invasion, and we've got heroes that are pulled together by the government to with superpowers to take on the aliens. So very simple premise, but a ton of fun. A lot of different twists and turns, and as you can see, hopefully, you make this observation. I've made this observation before. No single page or layout is the same at all. Every single page, he's trying to do something a little bit different. A little bit just, um, definitely doesn't want it to look like any page that's come before, and also tries to kind of stretch the boundaries a little bit, just something a little bit like, different panel sizes, but also different panel type of lines, and sometimes bleed over where things, are pushed out of the panel a little bit, especially during his action scenes, which are amazing. And they're amazing because you can completely tell what's happening. And a thing that a lot of modern superhero comics suffer from is you just get this sense that there was a battle, but you don't really get to see it play out. Steve takes you through all the characters, and there are multiple panels showing what they're actually doing. So you can get a sense not only of each of their personalities, but also their powers and how to use them. And it's not just that as well. He really tries to come up with fun and creative ways for these powers to manifest, and for these characters to use those powers. So they're not boring action scenes in any way, shape, or form. What's really cool, so these first two issues, again, they were done back in the 90s, right? So these are older, and it's the final issue that's the most up to date. But Steve pretty much kind of keeps the same style, so it's awesome. I love how the consistency of his work, but I also love, look at this. Every single panel is showing an immense amount of effort. He's just, busting ass with every single panel. No panel is boring in any way, shape, or form. There's no level of laziness. And here again, just he always tries different types of, formats and things. Even something as simple as this, where we get G-Force's cape here in the foreground, just kind of fluttering over the panel here as well. Just fun little creative things like that. He just tries to make things so interesting, so you can even kind of take your time and just kind of explore what's going on. Very creative villains, a lot of fun. The aliens are just really neat. I love this, by the way. I absolutely love his work. I have in my office a Warriors of the Universe double page spread that he worked on as well, and so I love all of his panel work, but I like seeing his 2-page spreads, splash pages. He just really knows how to fill in the space well. Again, with Steve, it's all power, it's all energy, it's all rock and roll. These aren't the kind of books that you're going to get a whole lot of sit down time and just chilling out, even though he does have some of those moments and they work out really well. But his comics are the kind of comics that you're going to be putting on some heavy metal to listen to it and have some good time. Here's some pretty interesting stuff that he started incorporating actual images and photography into his works. So he's trying to play with different techniques as well. Every once in a while, you'll see some like zipatone kind of stuff, but he doesn't use it too heavy, although some cases he will. And what's great about this is, Vendetta, the Holy Vindicator, is still in this as well. So he's kind of a side character that's coming to help out the team. So you're really getting a full, fleshed out Red Bullet universe here, which I really dig, which I really like. A lot of subplot elements, and then he's going to make you switch around every once in a while because he's going to keep you on your toes. All the subplot elements pull together in really nicely. Things completely make sense. I don't want to give away too much of the story, and also I'm not going to go past the into the to the third final issue because honestly, you need to go out and buy this book. It's still available at Floating World Comics, and I highly recommend. This is long overdue. I've had this book when it first came out 2 years ago. Why I haven't done it yet, I don't know. I was going through my comics the other day, and I was like, I never did a video on C.R.O.W.BAR 9. So I definitely need to do that. And I reread it again, and it's just as fun on the reread. So, yeah, this is one of those comics you want to read when you want to wake up a little, for sure. He looks like that he redid the splash. He originally had a splash page for issue 3, and he redid it. Got a fun splash page here. And then we also got in the back matter, we also have, just a few like secret file things where you can kind of get some profile items on some of the characters. And then, of course, one of the outlaw comic legends, Ken Landgraf of New York City Outlaws fame, did a pinup of the team, which was just awesome. Really cool seeing a collaboration between Steve McArdle and Ken Landgraf. That's how can you get better than that, ladies and gentlemen? You really can't. You cannot get better than that. What a team. So just, go out to Floating World Comics. You can get this book. It's actually really cheap. It's worth it completely. And there are many other, you can get Vendetta, Holy Vindicator, Earthman, all these power comics already. New York City Outlaws and John Tar is out. And I think we're still waiting for Savage World of Tony Lorenz to come out, which I'm looking forward to. Huge Tony Lorenz fan. So they got a lot of cool power comics stuff there at Floating World, and I love the collaboration that those two initiatives are having. But yeah, you need to go out and check out C.R.O.W.BAR 9. Take a gander at this stuff. If you want some good 90s action-packed superhero stuff, it's definitely going to be right up your alley, and you won't be disappointed. Really like the coloring job on this too. I think Steve might have done that himself, but incredible coloring. This is a comic I wouldn't mind seeing in color, but I like it just fine in black and white as well. So go out, pick out C.R.O.W.BAR 9, get Vendetta Holy Vindicator. I cannot recommend these highly enough. These are totally the types of comics that are in 100% my wheelhouse. They're in my special box, my special shelf for sure. All right, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for hanging in there. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for more notifications. Stay safe out there and keep it psycho.